How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTCReaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether price is going up or down. Over on Dixie for the daily, we did make a bounce off that channel, so that is positive for Dixie, providing we can continue with higher highs and higher lows from this point. If we do not see higher highs and higher lows and lower time frames remain strong, then we do still have a potential to reject. Our MPP does say we could pull back to the 106. If we do pull back to the 106, we would have a rise, a drop, a rise, and then we would have another drop, which would be a double top, which would break us even further down. That could push us right around that 105 range. Momentum is pulling back, VWAP is trying to push up, and money flow is starting to pull back. So overall, I would exercise caution. Over on the 1 hour, we are seeing a higher high with a higher low, slightly higher low. So this is positive. They don't connect too well, so they don't make a rising channel. We could get bullish continuation, but remember, if Dixie is going to continue up, usually Bitcoin would pull back, so we do want to see this reject. VWAP is pulling back, momentum is rounding, stochastic is dropping, and RSI is starting to pull back slightly, so watch that stochastic. If it continues to pull back here, we could see that RSI bring price lower, but if stochastic makes a bounce and remains in the overbought territory, somewhat like back here, then we could continue to push forward. Watch that VWAP as well. That VWAP does need to break into bullish territory with that stochastic to bounce in order for that to happen. Over on Bitcoin dominance for the daily, we do see indecision here. So we do have some consolidation right around that value area high. After a push down, this could be a little mini bear flag that could break us lower. So I would watch that. May be what brings us down to that 56%. Maybe we make a slanted head and shoulders here, so this could be a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder, and that would break us even lower, so that would be what would push us there. Stochastic is starting to push down, RSI is trying to push up, VWAP is pushing forward, and money flow does want to gain strength, but if lower time frames remain weak, then we likely would break away. So we do have higher highs and higher lows on the 1 hour. That is positive. VWAP is getting a higher high with higher lows, so we have a bullish trend there. If that bullish trend can continue, then we could continue to see dominance push up. Again, that may be bad for our altcoins because that means Bitcoin will push ahead of altcoins, and then we may not see that bull market run for them alts. We do have a potential for a rising triangle here that could try to push us forward as well. Our MPP does say we may push around to that 58%, like 58.5. That would be about where that rising triangle would take us. So over on total for the daily, it does look like we have a little bit indecision here as well. But again, watch that Dixie. If that Dixie rejects, then we could start to see a push forward for our crypto market here. RSI is flat. Momentum is trying to push into the bearish territory. VWAP is rejecting. We do have a lower low with a lower high. So we do have a bearish trend here on the daily that can break us lower. And that could push us down toward that 749 like we've been warning to watch for. So I know that's not ideal. Over on the 1 hour, we do have higher highs with higher lows. But this does look pretty consistent. So we want to draw a parallel channel. Pull this channel over. That may be a bit of a rising channel if you mix the wicks and bodies, and then that rising channel would break you down, so I would exercise caution. It may stretch out for a little while yet. Remember, usually you get 3 touches to the top and 3 to the bottom, so we do have our 3rd to the bottom. This may be where we would break down. That would align with that MPP probability of around that 90 trillion, or 900 trillion, so I would watch. But if we do make a bounce off the bottom of this channel and that VWAP pushes forward, then we could push forward and retest that resistance, then continue and invalidate this. Again, watch for confirmation. What you would want to watch for is the push below this channel, then a retest of the channel and a rejection. You're not always going to get that, so sometimes you may be left out, but it's better to be left out than to jump in and then get the market go the opposite way from you. So if you're trying to get a short, you wouldn't want to just get the short right now to get your max gains. That may end up hurting you in the long run. So over on Bitcoin futures for the daily, it does look like we do still have that lower high. Watch out for a lower low. Again, our MPP does say we could fill that gap right around that 80K range. So watch that 80K, 86K. That 86K, 88K is a pretty strong support level. We do have a lot of candle bodies and wicks right here. but if we broke that, that's where we would continue down toward that 80k. VWAP does have a higher high, so that is positive. That can push us forward, providing that can break that neutral and hold. Momentum does want to push up, and money flow is in the green, so if VWAP breaks into a bullish trend and holds on lower time frames, then the daily could make a bounce here. Over on the 1 hour, we do have higher highs and higher lows. Again, let's see if we have a rising channel here. So our highs and lows do connect pretty well. Again, exercise caution, watch for confirmation of a rejection. Our confirmation would be we get a red candle, break away from this channel, then we get a green candle testing the channel, and then you would follow it with another red candle that would reject, and that's where you would continue lower. This channel is a little narrow though, so those losses may not be very big, and you may want to set a buy order ahead of time right now. If you're going to plan for it, this could push us right around that 90k. Then we need higher highs with higher lows to push us from that range, or we need to stop from a higher low from here, and then we could make a big broader pattern. Stochastic does want to curl up, RSI is trying to push forward, VWAP is gaining strength, and money flow does want to bounce off the neutral, but if that VWAP does not break through the neutral, money flow will fall into the red, showing we have further selling pressure. So over on Bitcoin for the daily, we do have a rejection of our resistance area. This is a long upper shadow candle, so watch out for a red candle. If we get a red candle next, that would be a confirmation of a rejection of our resistance. Then we would continue to our next support area, which is our first buy-in order. Then we could retest that, possibly hold there. If we don't, that's why we have our second buy-in order already placed. RSI is pulling back, stochastic is weakening. VWAP is in the bearish territory, but we have a higher low, so watch if we break neutral and hold. If we can and we get a higher high, then we could have a bullish trend form. Momentum would push up, money flow could remain green, and we could continue forward to those higher probabilities. Remember, our MPP is saying somewhere around the higher 100k range to 150k. Our stochastic does want to make a bounce on the 1 hour. Our channel does look like we could have a rising channel here. Again, watch out. We do have a retest of our resistance, so this is kind of what we're saying to watch on that channel. You have a red candle that breaks you down, a green candle that pushes you up to your resistance area or channel area. Then you have a red candle that rejects you. If this green candle is followed by another red candle, that would be a confirmation of a rejection, and we could continue lower. The MPP does say we could continue down toward that 89k. Now that that's a high probability area, we may want to modify our order and push it up, but that wouldn't really help our average. Actually, it would help our average because I think our average is pretty high right now. So we can move that up. That way we don't get stopped out right at that area, because that's the area a lot of people are going to watch. Stochastic is starting to pull back. RSI is weakening, that VWAP is in the bearish territory, and momentum is falling. Watch that VWAP close. If it stays in this bearish territory, money flow will remain red. Higher time frames will continue to break down. But if that VWAP can break through and hold, then we could push forward. Again, watch for that VWAP to break forward. That could be what would break that resistance, but we need higher highs with higher lows to continue from this range. So we would need to push off where we are right now. If we lose our current range, again, getting another red candle, that's where we could see that sell-off. So over on graph for the daily, it does look like we are starting to pull back. I would watch. We are trying to break that support level of that 20-cent range. Again, watch that 16,316 and the value area high. Those are our next support ranges. We're watching right around that 16,316 just because that's our best area for entry for our position, because we already have enough around that value area high range. RSI is starting to pull back, stochastic is rounding, VWAP is starting to break down, momentum does want to fall, and that money flow is weakening. So I would exercise caution, watch these lower time frames. Again, if they hold in bearish trends, then we will push lower. Over on the 1 hour, we do have lower highs and lower lows. I would watch. This may be some sort of goofy double top forming on the way down. Never seen one like that. But if we do see one form like this, we could see a breakdown. That would be a breakdown right around this 1846 range. Stochastic does want to pull back. RSI is starting to drop down. VWAP is breaking down. Momentum is falling. And that money flow is in the bearish territory. So you would measure that by having your rise, your drop, your rise, your drop, and then you would drop down. You would draw a support area. That support area would be where you would connect. So kind of hard to see right now. There we go. So then you would draw from your head down to your support area. Then you would apply that line down, and that'll give you your breakdown point right around that 18.9. So stochastic is pushing down, VWAP is bearish. If that VWAP stays bearish, we could continue and see that break away. So over on Anchor for the daily, our MPP does say we do have a 60% chance of pushing up, but if the rest of the market continues down, that could get invalidated. Stochastic is pulling back, RSI is dropping, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is dropping, and that money flow could start to pull back if that VWAP continues to drop here, so I would exercise caution, and again, watch if these lower time frames hold in these bearish trends. So over on Anchor, we don't really have any gaps in the immediate range, so there's really no areas we could continue to drop to in the immediate range, but I would watch for any past gaps. Our stochastic does want to drop down, RSI is weakening, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is dropping, and money flow is favoring bearish as well. If that VWAP continues to favor bearish here, we will see those higher time frames break away, but the only positive thing we could see is we do have a drop, a rise, and we do have another drop. If we make it bounce here and retest that 34.57 like the MPP says we could make a double bottom. That would be counter to the double top we just drew, and that would try to push us up toward that 36.54 range. So over on XRP for the daily, we did make a bounce off that support area that we did mention to watch, so hopefully you did get some in this range if you have been wondering if you should buy some XRP or not. RSI is starting to pull back, money flow is pulling back, that VWAP is favoring bearish but does want to push up, and momentum does want to gain strength, so we could see a point where we do push up, but again, watch the rest of the market. We do have some coins saying we have higher highs and higher lows, like here on XRP, but again, watch for them to create these rising channels, because these rising channels could still break us down. Those would be decent DCA opportunities, so our MPP does say there's only a 35% chance of filling our order. We may want to move that order up, just because you don't want to be right at that calculated area. Again, that's going to be the area people are trying to stop out at. So over on the 1 hour, stochastic is starting to push down, RSI is weakening, that VWAP is favoring bearish, causing that momentum to drop and causing money flow to remain red. If that VWAP continues down and we continue seeing lower lows and lower highs, or consistent lows and low highs below that neutral, momentum will break down, money flow will stay red, and higher time frames will continue to drop. So last but not least, unless we have any special requests, we have algo for the daily. Again, this could be that descending triangle we said to watch for, so we'll draw that out real quick. You have those lower highs and consistent lows, so somewhere in this range right here, and we would be retesting the bottom, but you would draw from your top to your bottom, and that would be your breakdown point, and that could push us all the way down to that 1906. So that'd be a little bit below that 25-cent range we've been eyeballing, so I would watch that if I were you. Again, that would be a break of that value area high. That value area high would be the strongest support area to watch, but if the rest of the market pushes forward, we could see a bounce up. We do have an indecision candle here where we have a long upper and lower shadow candle. So the wicks are about the same. Watch that. We could see a rejection if we see some red candles. Watch lower time frames because the daily is not too helpful when you have these indecisive candles. VWAP does want to break forward. Apparently our XRP order got canceled. We'll have to fix that. Momentum does want to push up, and money flow is trying to gain strength. So overall, it does look like we could try to push up, but I would watch lower time frames. They need to break into a bullish trend for that to happen. Over on the 1 hour, you could see if we do draw this triangle, we did have an area where we tried to break out. So the whales tried to push us forward, tried to break us away from bullish momentum, or break us away from bearish momentum, sorry, and then tried to give us some bullish momentum. There is still a possibility, as we do have those higher highs and higher lows, that could push us up to that 37-cent range. But watch that VWAP, as that VWAP is favoring bearish. If that VWAP continues to favor bearish, momentum will continue lower, money flow will continue to break down, and we would reject away. So again, just watch. That's why you want to watch for confirmation, because if you would have drawn this and you saw a breakout and you got excited, you bought in here and you wanted to see a rise forward, that would have been emotional trading. You don't want to trade on emotions, you want to trade on confirmations. You could watch for this retest here and then seen we had a red candle next, and that could have been a clue that we would have a further pullback. Now we have some flat action going on, so that's a sign that we could see a bear flag form on this lower time frame. That bear flag would push us to the bottom of our channel, but if that VWAP does break into a bullish trend, that would be what you would want to watch. That could break us forward and still push us up based on our MPP, but we do still have that MPP target where we could still drop away if we continue making lower highs and lower lows in this range. So we will fix our order real quick, so we'll hop over to our trading window. Go over to paper trading, pull up this menu. Don't know why it's so smushed. So history, our XRP order, I don't know where it is. That's a bad way to list it. So canceled orders, XRP, we can modify this order. No, we can't. So again, that's why I don't like this interface from my personal trading, because it's pretty clunky in my opinion. I don't believe we had an XRP order in this range. I did place one for that like 190 range, so a little lower down here. We did not get that filled, so there is still a probability of that happening, but I would watch if you do want to still get in on that range. That would be a previous support range based on this consolidation range back here. So you could still do a trade order in that range if you want. But again, watch the rest of the market. It does look like we do want to get a bounce, but if we don't get those bullish confirmations, we could still break away. So I do want to change the time limit on this order. That way it doesn't just disappear on us. I don't know why it's not letting us edit. So orders, we'll go to our XRP order. Go to the pen right here. We do want to change, modify order, change the date. That way it doesn't just expire in like 30 seconds. There we go. So now that we have done that, we have our trade set up. Thank you for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and join us.